Hello, welcome to the Productive Wellbeing Show, episode 103, with me, your host, Abigail Barnes. I'm so excited that we get to hang out today for a conversation all around something that I have recognized coming up again and again with clients and people that I am working with, and that is toxic positivity. And this toxic positivity that I want to speak to you about today is in relation to time management. So I'm calling this toxic time management. As you are joining me today, say hi, let me know where you're joining from, what the weather's like, how you are doing. We're at a different time today. I just thought I'd try a different time and see what's going on, because the world is totally changing and the world is totally different right now. So let me know if this is a better time for you. As I said, today's conversation, toxic time management. So let me know in the comments if you identify with any of these sentences, and there is no judgment at all if you find yourself using these sentences on a daily basis, even on a weekly or a monthly basis. Do you find yourself saying to people, I just don't have enough time? Do you find yourself saying to people, I'm so busy? Do you find yourself saying to people, I've got so much to do, I just don't know where to start? And then do you find that you start getting unsolicited feedback to these statements, like, you should try this, you should try that, you should read this, you should read that, have you read this, have you read that, have you tried this, have you tried that? Cue the hamster wheel of book purchasing and course buying and trainings. So perhaps you're one of these people who actually knows what it is that you need to do when it comes to your time management, but there's just something stopping you. So this is the conversation today. I'm calling this toxic time management. This is when we find ourselves in this place where we actually know what to do, but there's something stopping us. And buying more books, doing more courses, taking more things, learning more isn't what's stopping us. What's stopping us is actually doing something with that. So they call it shelf development rather than self-development, when you don't do something with what you know, when you know it, but you're not applying it. So in this conversation today, I want to share some helpful tips and strategies with you to see if this is going to help you to sort of move past whatever your biggest time management challenge is right now. And also in the comments, let me know what your biggest time management challenge is right now. So in future episodes, I can give you solutions to these challenges. And I just want to say hi to Carmel in Ireland. Yes, in London, where I am, it's freezing as well, but the sun is shining. So where are we right now then? Okay. The number one thing that I see when it comes to the time management challenge and how to move past it and how to have more time and how to stop being busy is that people don't have the same beliefs as people who are managing their time. So let me back up a second. We all have the same 24 hours, but we don't all have the same beliefs about those 24 hours. What I mean by that is some people believe there's not enough time, and some people believe there's more than enough time. And some people know what to do with that time, and some people don't know what to do with that time. But we all have the same 24 hours. And when I first started teaching this time management productivity thing over 7 years ago now, when I wrote my first book, Time Management for Entrepreneurs, I was invited to go to trainings and speak to people about time management. And they all crossed their arms and they said, yeah, I know that. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, read that, done that. So I was sort of a bit perplexed as to, first of all, why they had asked me to come along to speak to them. Second of all, why, if they knew that, nothing was changing. And third of all, it then made me curious as to what I could do to help people to create that change, to take that step, to change their beliefs. So cue the second thing that's then happened on this journey. So you may see behind me 3 8s. We call this the 888 formula. So this was the second thing that happened. I was being invited to do these trainings and I was sort of sharing over 45, 60 minutes, maybe, let's say an average of 30 slides. And on one slide were these 3 numbers. And this was the slide when everybody got out their phone, got out their notebook and started taking photos and started talking about this. This is the slide that got me the most messages, got me the most emails, got me the most conversations with people. And what this is the simplest way to divide your 24-hour day. So science says that we really need to be sleeping between 7 and 9 hours. So let's call that 8. Society says that we're working for 8 hours a day. And then what is left is our life, the middle bit, the jam in the 888 sandwich, as we call this. This is everything else. This is your relationships. This is your exercise. This is your diet. This is your shopping. This is your washing. This is your cooking. This is your cleaning. This was your commuting. Every single thing that's not work and isn't rest and isn't sleep is the middle 8. So then people sat up and started taking notice of this conversation about time and time management. And then they started asking questions. Well, but what can I do? And suddenly beliefs about time started to change. Relationships with time started to change. Ideas about time started to change, and the conversations I was having about time started to change, because people were beginning to recognize for themselves that how they were allocating their time between these 8s was dictating the life that they had, was creating the reality that they had, and they wanted things to be different. So that's the 888 formula. And then what came from this was people saying, well, what is my formula? I don't want to sleep this much. I don't need to sleep this much, or I need to sleep more, or I need to work less, or I'm in a phase of my life, a stage of my life, a season of my life where I just can't get as much sleep because maybe you have a young family. So what can I do? So this then became create your own formula conversations. So these were trainings helping people to identify and create their own formula, what works for them. Another bit of science, the average person needs 7.5 hours sleep. So that gives you half an hour that you can allocate somewhere else. So you're creating a plan then. And once you've created this plan, it's about tracking and auditing that plan to see, does it work? Does it suit your life? Does it suit your life in every phase? Does it suit your life in every stage? Does it suit your life as a year progresses, as a year changes? And then once you get curious about where your time's going and what happens and how you feel about more sleep, then you can start to make more changes. And in essence, this is about taking something called radical responsibility. This is about understanding that this is your time. How you spend your time is down to you. And what you are getting from how you spend your time is down to you. So if you want things to change, you're the one that has to change them. And it might be that you're in a position in your life right now where it's not very easy to change things, but there are some things that you can change. And this is how change works. Change isn't just like an overnight where everything changes. It's step by step, it's piece by piece, it's bit by bit, and then it all adds up to a landslide change. So let's imagine, if we look back, the world as it was a year ago, how much has changed in a year? And then the world as it was the year before that, how much has changed since that 2 years ago? So we overestimate what we can achieve in a day or in a week or in a month, and we underestimate what we can achieve in a year, in 2 years, in 5 years, in 10 years. So once we take this radical responsibility, we understand it's our time that's creating our life. What can I do to change it? Not somebody else. What can I do to change it? Then things will start to change. And the other side of this is it's about understanding the muscles that we need to start exercising. So I've got 5 muscles to recommend to you to start exercising. The first muscle is your imagination muscle. I want you to imagine what your life is going to be like when you have more time, when you feel like you have more time, when you feel less overwhelmed, when you feel less stressed, when you feel less burnt out, when you feel better about time. What is that life going to look like? What are you going to feel like living in that life? So that's the first thing. Spend some time imagining. Then the next step, get excited about that. Why wouldn't you be excited about what your own life could look like? Step 3, choice. Understand it is your choice. If you do it or you don't do it, it's your choice. If you forget to do it one day, it's your choice. The world isn't going to end because you're not doing it. The only person whose life is impacted by not managing your time is your own. And if you don't manage your time, somebody else will manage it for you. Believe me. Look around your life right now. Step 4. We've talked about this already. Responsibility. So you need to take radical responsibility for this time of yours. When you take radical responsibility, things will start to change. And then step 5. This one is so simple, but so crazy. You need to take action. Yes, so that has its own step. Step 5, take action. So step 1, imagine what life is going to be like when you are in charge of your time. Step 2, get excited about that. Step 3, choice. Make choices. Step 4, take responsibility for this whole process. And then step 5, take some freaking action, because nothing will change until you take an action. So those are my 5 steps to help you to move forward in your time management journey, relationship with time. And understanding that toxic time management comes when we spend our time doing all the courses, reading all the books, of which my new book is out later this month, later in April 2021. Super excited. Obviously, you can read that book because that book is full of action steps. It is specifically designed to be a short read. It is specifically designed to motivate you, to take an action, to inspire you. It is full of case studies and examples of people who are managing their time in different situations, and there will be people in there who have similar situations to you, so that you can find proof of what's possible. So time management, to wrap up, it is possible. It is possible to have a great relationship with time. It is possible not to feel busy, not to feel overwhelmed, not to feel stressed, not to feel like the clock is in charge of you, but to feel like you are in charge of the clock. But in order to do this, it's about you recognizing these are your 24 hours. You have the same as your peers, as your friends, as your colleagues, as your bosses, as your clients. as anybody that you admire, but you don't yet have the same beliefs about that time as they do. And when you start to get these beliefs, something I'm talking about massively in my book and in my trainings, these beliefs will literally be like a switch goes off in your head and you raise your standard. I no longer accept the excuse I'm busy, because quite frankly, it is an excuse, and it is something that we use to hide behind. And we're not busy. We just don't have a plan, and we don't know what we need to do next, and we're not taking the actions. So being busy and procrastinating are easy ways for us to just check out of our life. But as I said earlier, radical responsibility is what we're here for, because this 24 hours that we have every single day, the clock that is ticking, is the clock of our own lives. And when you really change the way you look at time, and you recognize and you understand and you accept, this is your time, this is your life, these are your results that you are getting or that you aren't getting. And if you want things to change, you're going to need to take a step to change them. And as I said, we're talking tiny, teeny little steps, not that you have to take a gigantic leap that scares you so much that nothing happens. Change happens when we take tiny, teeny little steps, but continuously every single day. We will be back next week with a guest. This was just hanging out with me today. As I said, I wanted to talk to you about something that is just coming up again and again and again. So toxic time management, it's just the relationship, it's just the obsession with learning rather than taking action. Just like toxic positivity is just spending your whole time being positive, but not doing anything. Nothing in your life will change until you do something very small that you can build and build and build and build and build. So it has been awesome to hang out with you. Thank you for letting me know where you've been joining me from around the world. I love this. When you're watching on the replay, also let us know where you're joining. And as I said, any specific questions you've got about time management, put them in the comments, and you are very welcome to come over to Facebook or even on LinkedIn as well and join the 888 community, which is on both of those platforms, and share your questions in there. And look out for updates about my book. You can actually pre-order it at the moment as well. And when you pre-order it, you will get access to some awesome training for free. Master Your Time. I'm going to be sharing a 5-step training with people. So hello from Ireland, hello from Amsterdam, hello from London. So awesome to see you all. Stay well. I will see you next week or somewhere else on social media. And next week, we're going to have another guest. And next week's show will be in the afternoon if you're in the UK. So just look out for updates about what time it will be so that you can find that time appropriate for your own time zone. So until next time, stay safe, stay well, and keep washing your hands. Take care.